Happy Thursday, everybody, from beautiful Clearwater, Florida here. Thank you to everybody for joining me, and following along with my Facebook updates as I work to try to bring new information and education to our communities being impacted by COVID-19. Again, I want to thank everybody for all of your support and all of our frontline workers and our healthcare workers, for which we are extremely appreciative of all of your hard work. And I touch base tonight with the head of my pulmonary critical care team, just to let him know that I'm doing well and very pleased with how I feel my recovery is going. And I certainly appreciate my healthcare team in getting me to where I am here today and able to share with you all. Unfortunately, just since our visit last night, I've already been notified that at least 5 people who share on here, unfortunately, lost immediate family members to COVID-19. My sincere condolences go out to you and your families. My condolences go out to families that have been affected all over the world by this horrible virus. And just please continue to pray. And again, I want to stress the need for recovered COVID-19 survivors to please go see if you're eligible to donate convalescent plasma. And I'm going to give everybody the website again. You're probably tired of hearing me say it, but it's extremely important, and this is what potentially saves lives. redcrossblood.org. So redcrossblood.org. Please log on, take a look, and see if you're eligible to donate. If you can, please, please, please try to go save someone's life. We're on the survivor side of that COVID-19 statistic, and we need to add a whole lot more people to that. So thank you. Okay, for anybody who's interested now in more of the scientific update, we'll get into that if you're interested. So from a quick scan today, looking over journal articles and the summaries. So my disclaimer is I have not read all of these studies. Most of these little updates that I give you are based on reading the summary, but I am using reliable websites for this. And if I do find an error in what I've told you, certainly I will correct myself to make sure that you're receiving accurate information. So there was an article published in the New England Journal of Medicine today from a study at UCLA, and in mild COVID-19 patients, their antibody levels appeared to drop by half in as low as 36 days. Now, this obviously is going to require further research and investigation to see what this means clinically. It's going to bring up questions about, well, if somebody has a mild case of COVID-19, do they become immune to this virus? Is there a chance for reinfection after being infected with a mild case of COVID-19? So it furthers our need for development of effective vaccines besides effective treatments for acute infection. So I keep saying this over and over, but we have to follow the science and see what this is going to mean to us clinically and to our patients. and the impact of health on society. In some good news, actually this is great news, some great news that was reported in Anesthesia on June 30th of 2020 is that overall COVID-19 related mortality among patients in the ICUs, so these are sick folks, overall COVID-19 related mortality among patients in ICUs has decreased by nearly 1/3 since the end of March of this year. Now, folks, that's exciting data right there. Reduce mortality by 30%. That has obviously come as our researchers and scientists have made significant advances in the last 6 months about what we know, how this disease affects bodies and their treatment strategies to fight against this. So thank you so much to our researchers and scientists and doctors who continue to work tirelessly for effective therapies. And here's raw data showing what a difference they've made. 1/3 less patients are dying now compared to what they were prior to the end of March of this year. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Interesting article published July 12th, 2020 in Annals of Hematology. Several people had reached out asking about blood types in relation to COVID-19. So this study that was published July 12th showed that contrary to earlier data, COVID-19 as a predictor of severity, and severity was measured as resulting in death, intubation, or the need for hospitalization. So your blood type is not a predictor of severity, but it may be linked with testing positive for the disease. So that's kind of interesting. Symptomatic patients with type O blood appeared to test positive at a significantly lower rate than patients with type B, type AB, or positive Rh factor. So if you're type O, your chance of testing positive for COVID-19, if you're symptomatic, was significantly lower. And we have no idea why. For those of you who are type A, there's no change, doesn't matter. The other interesting finding from that analysis was that there's also no link to increased inflammation depending on blood types, with the key markers of inflammation monitored, including white blood cell count and C-reactive proteins. So again, this shows how important the rapidly changing data matters in what we do clinically, because just as early as a couple weeks ago, there was a lot of noise being generated about the importance of blood types and what role that may have been playing in predictability in terms of diagnosis and overall outcome. So speaking of following the science and double checking your sources and your information, I have to call myself out tonight on some information that I presented to you last night regarding the medication known as Alenia, which is the nitazoxanide. So I need to make some clarifications on that. The physician who researched and developed this medication saw the information that I had posted, and thankfully and quickly reached out to touch base with me so that I could clarify my information for you all. And I'm very, very grateful for him for taking the time out of his extremely busy schedule to spend some time geeking out together as doctors and scientists to discuss his research and this medication. So, Doc, thank you so much. I'm extremely grateful for you taking the time and for allowing me to use this platform to try to get the information out there about this interesting medication. So the basic chemical molecule that I spoke about last night is the same, nitazoxanide. Now, in the clinical trials that I mentioned last night, the trial name of the drug is capital N, capital T -300, NT300. Now, the difference between this study drug and Alenia is that NT300 is a slow-release tablet, 300 milligram. So there are two studies. If you're interested in this, you can go to clinicaltrials.gov, and the information is on there, and it's NT-300 for the treatment of COVID-19. Now, they are currently recruiting healthcare workers in hospitals in the U.S. for post-exposure treatment to COVID-19. So hospital workers in the United States with post-exposure treatment for COVID-19. There's also a study for residents in nursing homes. These are double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, so this is the real deal. And I'm going to be very, very excited to see the results of these studies once they're completed. So a little bit about that drug. The original drug, which is the immediate release, nitazoxanide, it was approved in 2002 by the FDA for the treatment of Cryptosporidium parvum, which was causing a horrible form of diarrhea and was basically ravaging the AIDS community back during that time. So that became a life-saving drug for a number of people, and is still used to this day. So nitazoxanide, here's some really cool technical geeky stuff. How does this drug work? Well, as SARS-CoV-2, the agent that causes COVID-19, nitazoxanide disrupts the final assembly of what's called the spike protein. And spike proteins are involved with viral replication. It prevents the virus from binding with the ACE2 receptors, which blocks development of the viral infection in humans. So what does that mean? Basically, it kills the virus as the host, or as our human cells are kind of put at a state of rest, is probably the best way to describe that. So basically, the host cell does not accept the virus. So the virus isn't allowed to get in there and start reproducing itself, which obviously is what ultimately makes us sick and kills us. So it basically destroys the protein of the virus before it can mutate. So this is getting down to the nitty-gritty science aspect, which is really cool. So for this study in particular, they're looking for 1,400 patients, and these are doctors, nurses, and staff, again, at hospitals in the United States for post-exposure prophylaxis. And they need 1,400 patients to get this study completed. The really cool thing is this study is being conducted by a company called Romark Laboratories LC, ROMARK, Romark Laboratories LC, who are based right here in Tampa, Florida. So this is right in my backyard. This is exciting stuff, especially, for a physician and a science geek like myself. I do want to put the disclaimer out there that I do not work for this corporation, and I do not have any financial interest in this corporation. So I'm strictly providing this as information. I'm hopeful that maybe there are either some healthcare executives or contacts at some of our major hospitals or healthcare organizations who might be interested in these studies. So if you are, either please feel free to reach out to me, or again, go to clinicaltrials.gov, and it's NT-300. So hopefully we can generate some interest there, get these clinical trials underway, because obviously if it shows that this drug works, not only will that implication carry over to healthcare workers who are exposed to COVID-19, working in these COVID units every single day, risking their own lives and those of their family that they go home to, but overall implication could be extended ultimately for applications, in the workforce, no matter where you work. If you were exposed to somebody who was known tested positive, what if we have a drug that would prove that you will not get infected by COVID-19? So this is obviously on the cutting edge, and I'm really happy to share this information. So with that, sorry the post got a little long again here tonight, but especially the technical aspect I thought was really cool, and I was so excited to share that information with those of you who are interested. I appreciate all the questions and everything that you guys have been sending me. I will say, and I'm going to apologize that I've not been able to respond to every one of them. My reports have thankfully been reshared, and there are literally thousands of people across the United States and Europe who are watching these and hopefully garnering some information to make each of us more educated, to make our family and friends more educated, and our communities a safer place for all of us. So as a sign-off, I just want to remind everybody to please stay safe, follow the most current guidelines and recommendations for your community. Most importantly, be kind to one another and be kind to yourselves. So thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day to enjoy our chat and our update. I hope that you guys do find these informative and educational, because that is my goal at this point, is to provide education to as many people as possible. And I am certainly no COVID expert. I'm a little family doc right here in Largo and Clearwater, Florida, and I'm extremely proud of that fact and appreciative of my patients who trust in the care that I try to provide for them. It's my privilege. So good night. Everybody enjoy your Thursday. Hopefully my post tomorrow night maybe won't be quite as long because it's Friday and everybody's ready for the weekend. But everybody stay safe, and God bless you all. And I'll look forward to us chatting again soon. Take care and have a great night, everybody.